Today we're taking a look at one of the simplest Polaroid cameras that you can buy. Hey everyone, Sean here, and welcome back to another episode of Film Friday. On today's episode, we're taking a look at this Polaroid 600 Express. Now, this is one of the simplest Polaroid 600 cameras out there, and I'm going to show you exactly why that is. Now, I found this camera at a thrift store. I often go to Goodwills to look for antique and vintage cameras, specifically cheaper cameras. A lot of the nicer antique vintage cameras are no longer available at Goodwill. Unfortunately, they put them on a website, a Goodwill website, and you have to buy them on there. But some of the lower end, cheaper cameras are still available in the electronics area of the store, and it just depends on what day you go in. But on this specific day, I found this little Polaroid 600 Express for a really good price. So I took this camera home, I cleaned the rollers with some rubbing alcohol, which is essential for these older Polaroid cameras. If you get a used one, definitely make sure those rollers are clean. I used a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol. And the reason you do this is so the rollers smoothly roll out your Polaroid film when you shoot it, so you get a nice exposure. If you have dirty rollers, you will get weird smears on your Polaroid film. And once I had the rollers cleaned, I put a cartridge of round frame Polaroid 600 film in here, took some test shots. Sure enough, camera works great. It really was in mint condition. I don't think anyone really used this camera very much. I think it probably was purchased by someone and sat on a shelf. So I got a really good deal for this camera and it works really well. Now, one of the things about this Polaroid camera that I really like is it doesn't give you any exposure control. You're basically limited to what it decides to meter for you. I'll show you right here with this other Polaroid 600 camera. This is my Job Pro 2. With this camera, we have a lightening and darkening control. So I can actually adjust this depending on how bright or dark my scene is. And the unfortunate part about this control is that oftentimes I use it. And that seems like, wouldn't it be good to use this control? Well, not really, because oftentimes I darken it too much or lighten it too much and I get an unusable exposure. I either blow out my shot or I underexpose it and it creates an unusable Polaroid that just doesn't look good. What I love about this little 600 Express camera is there are no darkening or brightening controls. So basically, I am stuck with what the sensor in this camera with the light meter decides to expose for the shot. And that's actually great because I found with this camera, without having that option, I get much more usable exposures. Go figure, turns out if you let the Polaroid camera make the decision, it generally makes a better decision than you do. Now, I said this was the simplest Polaroid 600 camera you could get. That's not completely true because it still does have a close focus / macro mode. It's got this little lever here. You just slide it in front. It slides an extra optic in front of the camera's standard optic, and this allows the camera to focus closer up. So yeah, you can definitely use this, and I like having this feature. It's actually in this Job Pro 2 as well. It's nice to have this feature in case I'm shooting a close-up portrait or I'm shooting like nature photography, like a flower. Being able to focus a little bit closer is a really nice option to have. I also just really like the design of this camera. It has such a unique look. I love the color. I love that it has this kind of rounded front dome. And I also really like the grip here. Now, this is actually a Velcro grip. You can see I can loosen it to make it tighter or wider depending on how big my hand is. And this hand grip is really nice if I'm walking around with the camera. Just put my hand in there, then I can shoot away. If I'm walking, I'm holding it at my side. It's in place, it's not gonna fall out of my hand. And I really like this. You know, other Polaroid cameras like this Job Pro have a neck strap, and that's kind of nice, but it does get kind of annoying to hang a Polaroid 600 camera around your neck, especially when it's really heavy. This camera is kind of nice because you just kind of put it on your hand and you just walk around. Obviously, you can also put it in a camera bag, which I do. I generally bring a camera bag so I didn't have to hold the camera the entire time. But I really like this feature. I think it's pretty cool. Now let's take a look at some of the photos I captured with this camera. And here is the first cartridge of film I shot with this camera. This is Polaroid round frame film. And I shot this at sunset, and it definitely exposed darker. And this shot is pretty contrasty too. It's our office cat chilling in our manager's chair. Here's a weird frog statue in a local forest preserve nearby. This one's a little underexposed for my liking. And here's a close focus shot I did. The camera is blowing out the window entirely, and we're getting kind of a silhouette on the plants. Now this shot is my own fault. I should have used the flash, but I chose not to, and by doing so, the exposure was pretty long, which added motion blur to the photo. It's not as nice as it could have been. This architecture shot turned out great. Skies are a little blown out, but overall, I really like the exposure. Here's a cool photo of some clouds behind branches. We got a little sun flare in the top. Here's this beautiful skylight shot I captured in Chicago. It's a little soft, but I feel like it captured the colors and the mood of the location. This flash portrait turned out okay, although I don't like how off-center he is. I was trying to expose for the skylight behind him, but that went completely dark. Here's a shot of a skyscraper in Chicago disappearing into the fog. One of the subjects I enjoy photographing in the spring is capturing those tree shadows before they get their leaves back on beautiful new vibrant green grass. And finally, here's a portrait I shot at a photo walk of a guy wearing a cool Polaroid hoodie. Fits right in. So as you can see, by using a Polaroid camera without an exposure control, trusting in the sensor, generally speaking, I got pretty good exposures. Not having controls that kind of tempt me to use them, I actually got a lot of good usable images. Okay, that was a quick look at the Polaroid 600 Express. If you are looking for a Polaroid 600 camera, something entry level, something simple, I definitely recommend this camera. If you can find a nice one that's still in good condition, that still works, these are really, really nice, simple Polaroid cameras to shoot with. Okay, that'll do it for today's episode of Film Friday. Now, if you have any comments, did I say anything wrong about this camera? Do you have any questions about this camera? Comment below. I'd love to help you out. Also, click right here to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more Film Friday videos like this one, as well as some of the short films I make. I'm Sean Anderson, and thanks for watching.